Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mouse Club podcast. My name is Marissa, and I am the host of this podcast. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And if this is your first time, thank you so much. Welcome to the Mouse Club. I hope that you will stay tuned for all of our episodes. And if you are back, thank you so much for joining us again. And I hope that you all enjoy this episode. This week, we're going to have our first ever guest. My husband, Blake Potts, will be on the podcast, and I hope that you guys enjoy having him on. He's really funny, and it's going to be a great episode. We're going to be talking about having a Disney wife, and basically, is it important if you're a Disney fan to marry another Disney fan, and things like that, and how Blake fell in love with Disney or enjoys Disney when he's with me, and we're gonna be talking about all that stuff. So I hope that you guys enjoy. Please be sure, if you would like to follow us along, that you follow us at the Mouse Club Podcast on Instagram. That is where I post a lot of polls. I ask you guys questions. I'm gonna have you all send in my stories and things like that. So if you'd like to participate in future episodes, that's the best way to get involved. We are currently in Florida, so if the sound is a little bit off, it's because I am currently in my old bedroom in my mom's house, and we have been here for the week for my dad's 50th birthday. We're being totally safe in Florida. We're just staying with family, and we're social distancing, wearing face masks, washing our hands, following hygiene procedures, all that stuff. So no need to worry, but we are here right now, and we've been having a great time. I actually just released a video on YouTube about Marvelous Miss Maisel Season 3 Miami filming location. So if you want to check that out, that's on my YouTube channel, Marissa Potts. And it was really, really fun. We went to the Fontainebleau in Miami. It was so beautiful. And I took a picture on the staircase to nowhere if you are a Marvelous Miss Maisel fan. And today I took Nala to the beach. So if you want to see that vlog, that's going to be up next week on my channel. And it's just been a really great time spending time with family. There's obviously not a ton of stuff to do because of the coronavirus, but we're enjoying the time that we are given, and we're having an awesome time. So sorry this podcast is a little late, but that is the reason why. We're in Florida. Everything's been pushed back a little bit, and we've been so tired after spending time with our families all day that we haven't had time to record. So I'm actually recording this on Wednesday night, and Blake's gonna help me finish tomorrow morning before this goes up so you guys can listen. So anyway, I hope that you guys enjoy, but I wanted to start off, of course, as usual, with some Disney news. So there's a little bit of Disney news this week, so we've got a little bit to get through. So first off is the guidelines for the resort reopenings were released by Disney. So here's some of the guidelines. The resorts all have different dates for reopening. So if there's a specific resort that you want to stay at, be sure to check out the Walt Disney World or whatever webpage for wherever you're trying to stay, because they all have different dates of reopening. But the article said that there's options to use online check-in and to meet luggage at your room, which is super convenient and super nice. I would love to use that service, to not even have to go into the lobby or the check-in counter, to literally just check in on your phone and just meet your luggage at your door. So that's super nice. Of course, as with every other Disney resort or Disney park right now, physical distancing, including what's the word I'm looking for? Barriers and reducing capacity at pools, gyms, lobbies, all of those places at resorts is going to be happening, which totally makes sense. So the pools definitely aren't going to be crowded like usual. There are going to be a lot less people there, as well as the gyms or the lobbies. And then it said online they're going to increase cleaning in the rooms, and you can actually find a whole list of all of the protocols that they're going to follow on the Disney Parks blog page or on their website. There's like literally a whole list of everything that they're going to be cleaning, from like the bedding to the bathrooms and all of the procedures that they're going to be following with that. So that's really awesome. They also said that they're going to be training their staff on how to kill any viruses, so that's really nice. They also said that there's going to be more hand sanitizer locations throughout the resort, as well as mobile order, cashless transactions, and magic bands, which help to reduce any contact, which is also great. Of course, magic bands are just great in general. The whole idea of being able to pay or get on rides with FastPass or open your resort doors, I love that idea. It's also great too, I feel like, for lost kids, because you can just scan their magic band and find out who their parents are. So that's super awesome. And yeah, resorts are reopening soon, so I hope everything goes really smooth with that. Next up, probably the biggest news of the day, is that Disneyland will be reopening starting July 9th. This is not official yet. They still need to propose this plan to the government and get approval for everything. So this is what I'm going to be reading to you guys, is basically what they're proposing to the government. I don't know exactly how this is going to work, because I know California still has like a stay-at-home order. So I don't know what they're planning to do with this, but I guess it's safer now. I don't really know, but this is the plan that they have laid out. So Downtown Disney is supposed to reopen July 9th in Disneyland, California. Disneyland and Disney California Adventure will be reopening July 17th if all goes according to plan. The Grand Californian and Paradise Pier resorts will be reopening July 23rd. And from what I read on their website, why can't I talk today? I'm messing up so many words. From what I read on their website, they're going to be following basically the same protocols as Walt Disney World. So cashless transactions, social distancing, hand sanitizer, temperature checks, all that stuff is going to be happening at California parks as well. Next up, probably the saddest news of the week, is that Give Kids the World Village is closing indefinitely. 171 employees have been laid off. That's going to be effective June 27th. If you don't know what Give Kids the World Village is, it's basically a partnership with Make-A-Wish Foundation. So the reason why they have a village in Orlando, I can't think of the words, I'm so sleepy tonight, but the reason that they have a village in Orlando is because so many Make-A-Wish kids, their wish is to go to Disney World. Oh, also, if you don't know what Make-A-Wish is, it's basically terminally ill children who basically through this foundation receive one wish. So a lot of them make a wish to go to Disney or to go to Universal. So that's why they have the village in Orlando. So families don't have to worry about, hotels or anything like that. They have a safe place for their families with terminal illnesses, and they can go enjoy their vacation. So it's really sad. They actually they opened pretty recently. So it's really sad that they're already closing indefinitely. We don't know when they will be back open again. It does make total sense, though, because a lot of these kids who are terminally ill obviously have very low immune systems, so it's not really a good idea to have a lot of them together or to be going to the parks with them. But it is really, really sad because some of the kids are probably not going to have a lot of time after the whole pandemic is over, and I'm sure that their families are already stressed. So it's definitely sad, but unfortunately that is the case right now. And then lastly, probably another really big piece of news is that Universal Orlando Resort officially reopened. And honestly, guys, I'm not hearing the best feedback. Not from guests, but from my friends who are team members. Just as I suspected, a lot of people are taking off their masks. There's just been a lot of issues. I'm just really thankful I don't work at the theme parks right now, because it just sounds like a lot to handle to try to enforce people wearing their masks and everything else. I have heard from guests that there's a lot of hand sanitizer stations around, which is really nice. But I've heard from team members that basically people will put on their mask to walk up to them and ask them a question, and then the second they turn around, they take them off again. And I also have heard from my friends who work on the rides that when people sit down in their vehicle, they take off their mask, and due to Universal's cleaning procedures, when somebody takes off their mask on the ride, they basically have to take them off and wipe down the whole row. So I've heard that it's not been going super great, but hopefully over time things will get better. It just is very unfortunate for all the team members who are stuck having to reinforce this to everybody. If you're going to the parks, please just be kind to the team members and the cast members. it doesn't really matter what your personal feelings are about wearing the mask. It's a business that you're choosing to go into, and they're asking you to wear a mask, and you're agreeing to that when you enter the parks. So let's just follow the rules and make it easier, y'all. There's just no reason to make it so hard. But anyway, that is all the news I have for you guys. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our episode. All right, everyone. Well, welcome back. I'm here with my guest, my first guest ever, my husband Blake.
Star appearance.
So welcome to the podcast, Blakey Bear.
Oh my gosh. Already getting cheesy.
So happy to have you here. Blake's going to be probably in a few episodes in the future, so get excited.
Get thrilled, people.
To have Blake with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Today we just wanted to do a little intro to Blake, and I thought it would be fun to talk about having a Disney wife and talking about like some of the questions I get asked a lot, which is, should you marry someone who's a Disney fan if you're a Disney fan? Did your husband like Disney before you met? A lot of those questions we're going to talk about and probably share some funny stories. So I hope that you guys enjoy this episode. So on that note, were you a Disney fan before you met me?
I was a fan. Would watch movies here and there, but I would maybe go to the parks once every few years. Never would go avidly.
But even that, like, a lot of people won't understand that because we live in Florida. So we have had the privilege, which we very much understand it's a privilege, to literally live like 2 hours from the theme parks. So when Blake says he went every couple of years, like, I know that's not normal for a lot of people. If most people get to go like once or twice in their lifetimes. Yeah. But living in Florida, that's just how it is. Like, I feel like everybody you know has been to Disney or Universal. I've had an annual pass to Disney like probably like at least 10 years of my life out of 24. So it's just like a common Florida thing, I feel like.
Yeah, and then, during summer vacations, there's a lot of people going, at least where I'm from in Florida, people go on summer vacations, take a week off, going somewhere. Not everyone, but for the most part, Yeah. And most people go to Orlando or somewhere else. But we would usually every summer go to Orlando, but we would usually not go to the parks just because my family, we had usually 7 people total going. Costly. So it was just too expensive.
Even with that Florida resident discount, you feel?
Yeah, but it was never, like, we just never had the money to do it every single year. But we would go, but we would mainly go to Universal. We didn't really do Disney a whole lot.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. And we'll probably talk about that in future episodes as well, because I know going sometimes with my family when we didn't have a lot of money, like, we definitely found ways to try to make it work. So we'll talk about that in the future, about like bringing food into the parks and
a lot of hacks.
A lot of our little hacks for cheaper trips to the parks. But definitely have gone a lot since we were kids. I would say more than your average person.
It's just people, it's like anything. If you're near something, you live near it. Like the beach, for example, a lot of people never been to the beach. We're 10 minutes from the beach, so it's normal for us. And then kind of take it for granted. So
Granted.
Not granted.
I hate when he says granted.
Take it for granted. It just doesn't flow off the tongue as good. But no, I don't know. It's just, you just kind of get used to it.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, Disney might be a big part of why we started dating, because basically how Blake and I met was we met at our youth group at church when we were in high school. And we did not really talk at all. There was one day, Blake does not remember this at all, but there was one day that I tried to talk to Blake, not really like in a flirtatious way, but just, I was really just trying to make friends because I didn't have any friends at the time, and Blake wanted like nothing to do with me at all. Yeah. And basically we didn't talk for like the 2 years that we were in youth group together. And when I went off to college in Orlando, I started posting a lot of Disney pictures, and Blake thought I looked cute.
Yeah, you just, I don't know. I was like, dang, She's all right.
Oh, all right. That's nice.
Just, all right. No.
Shut up.
She's looking good.
So he DM'd me on Instagram, and the rest was history.
That's how it is, man. You gotta shoot your shot. Shoot or shoot.
So thanks, Disney.
Yeah.
So we even had like we kind of have a weird relationship. So basically, like a week or 2 weeks after we started dating, Blake went on a 6-month mission trip where he started in Hawaii and then he went to Cambodia. But basically, one of our first dates was actually in the parks.
Before I left.
Yeah, because Blake came and stayed at my apartment for a weekend before he moved to Hawaii. So we went to Epcot the first night that he got there. And then the next day we went to Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom, I believe. Mm-hmm. Maybe we did Hollywood Studios too. I don't really remember.
I don't remember.
But yeah, it was one of our first dates. I'll never forget that date because I knew you were saving so much for your mission trip, but you were trying so hard to be nice and like buy me treats.
I sold my car, so that was an awkward challenge.
Yeah.
And then, I was just trying to do anything. Yeah. But I didn't really know, like, I hadn't been to Disney in probably, like, 6 years, something like that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It'd been a long time. Because I hadn't been in high school at all. Just didn't. And, so it was just, like, you knew where everything was, and you had so much knowledge about everything. I was like, well, this is different for sure. This is interesting. You knew where everything. You didn't need a map. Normally, I need the maps, and you're like, no, it's this way.
Whenever I go, like with your family too nowadays, or whenever I go with my family, I'm like, and they like grab all the maps at the beginning. I'm like, guys, we seriously don't need a map. I know where I'm going.
Yeah, when I was young, I used to love looking at them and like not collecting them, but I always loved taking them home and all that stuff. Like I'd grab at the hotels, they'd have like all of them.
At the rest stops on the way up. I always was so excited to get like all the pamphlets.
Yeah.
Driving up to Orlando.
Yeah. And I remember watching, like when I was younger, this is so sidetracked, but I remember watching like the channels, at the hotels.
Oh, those are the best channels ever.
They were like the Disney
I forget
channels.
her name, but the one girl who like goes on all the rides and tries all the food.
Yeah, I was like,
that's like the best job ever. That's like the dream job.
Duh, it's game over.
Right?
Just go and hang out all day with Mickey Mouse.
Maybe she sparked like the Disney YouTuber thing because everyone was like, I want to do that, and so everyone started filming their adventures in the park. So she's our like she's the our muse.
Yeah,
I can't even think of her name. I think it's Stacy, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. But yeah, those are definitely fun to watch. That's like when you're at Disney. It's like when you're at a Disney hotel and you have that Disney channel and you can watch her going on all the rides and you're like, oh, I want to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, that was good times.
Yeah, fond memories. And then actually when Blake got back from Cambodia, we stayed at Port Orleans for a couple days, and that's now like one of our favorite resorts.
Yeah, that one was so cool. Because I never stayed at like a nice Disney resort. Mm-hmm. It was always stayed at like actually never really stayed at Disney hotels too often.
Yeah,
maybe once.
I didn't either. If we did, we stayed at the Value for sure, like the All-Star or the Art of Animation, like the cheaper ones.
Yeah, just because like our family was too big for that, and then my mom, she had like a timeshare thing, so it was just worked out to go to another, hotel or whatever resort.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but staying at that hotel, I was like, wow, this is so nice.
It was just cool. Nice too. It's like such one of my fondest memories of our relationship because that was when you first came back, and that was when we were like really getting into our relationship because we had been in a relationship for 6 months, but just like on the phone.
Yeah, it was totally like, different.
Yeah, now we were in person. Now we were at this beautiful resort going to Disney for a few days, and it was just such a good time. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
I really
it was
loved
awesome. That. It was really cool.
But do you think so? Basically, after all of this talking, so you weren't like the biggest Disney fan before we got together.
No, like I liked it, and I would, like I said, I would go see the movies, and stuff. But to say I was like a Disney fanatic, like no, I would say definitely not. It's not like I was against it, but it was like I I don't know, wasn't like...
It wasn't on the top of your list.
Yeah, no.
Do you think you love it now more, now that we're together?
Yeah, I think so. I like seeing how you get excited about it. That's always so cool to me, because I'd never met anyone passionate about Disney before, so it was so different.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was so cool, like, hearing you tell me about, especially when you were working at the parks, hearing your perspective and things like that. But then also just like, oh, this new ride's coming out. Oh, I'm getting excited for that now, you know? And then just like little things, and seeing, I guess, what the Disney community does. Because I, like, Dapper Day, never heard of that. Mm-hmm. And just different little things, the different festivals that go on, like Food and Wine and all that stuff. So,
for sure. I think, like, something that's really important for a lot of girls who ask me, like, a lot of girls ask me, like, oh, was your husband a Disney fan, like, before he got married? Because a lot of my friends are Disney fans, and they just want someone who's, like, a big Disney fan as well. But honestly...
That's so funny to me.
Honestly, though, like, every relationship, no matter what you're a fan of, is about give and take. And I feel like when you're in a relationship with someone that you really care about, of course you have to have similar interests and similar passions, but also, like, as you grow together and as you learn together, you start to fall in love with the things they fall in love with as well.
Yeah.
Like, I never thought at this point, like, almost 6 years down the road, that I would willingly want to watch football and that I would actually turn on the football channel. And, you know, Blake and I, like, give and take. We go to the parks for me, I go to football games for him, and that's just kind of like how relationships, in my opinion, work. Like, you have to do things that both of you enjoy. So it's definitely, like, a plus, I feel like, to have a Disney fan, but I don't think that it's necessary to have to be the biggest Disney fan before you get in a relationship.
Yeah, no, I think anyone that thinks that probably shouldn't be in a relationship, I feel.
No, that's not true.
No, I'm just kidding.
They just want someone who, like, enjoys the things they do, because honestly, like, I can understand it, because a lot of people make fun of Disney fans. So I think a lot of people, like, wonder, like, oh, are they going to be the type of person that's going to make fun of me for, like, loving the parks or getting excited, you know? So
yeah, I don't know. I think it's like any passion, you know, if someone's super passionate about a sports team or anything, you know, fill in the blank. But I mean, it's like anything. And if things are meant to work out with that person, they're going to accept you for who you are.
Right.
It's just how it is. So no, I don't think someone needs to necessarily be a super Disney fan to be in a relationship with you if you are. And yeah, I mean,
yeah, I totally agree.
Don't think that's true.
And now, like I said, like, I'm enjoying football with Blake, and now Blake also, like, living in Atlanta, he's like, I just miss the park so much, and he tells me all the time, like, you tell me you want to go get, like, a Mickey pretzel with cheese.
Yeah, just like the little things you take for granted.
Yeah. Or, like, you tell me you want to go to Universal. Like, we're dying to go to Halloween Horror Nights. We're really, really hoping.
I mainly just want to go to Disney right now.
Yeah.
Because of Star Wars Land, we haven't been.
Right.
And I'm just like,
Blake's a huge Star Wars fan.
And I'm just beyond ready to go.
Yeah.
Go the lightsaber, everything.
Yeah. We're super excited, and we're really hoping Halloween Horror Nights and Mickey's Not So Scary don't get canceled, because we've been looking forward to going for years and years and years.
I doubt it will.
Because I've always worked the Not So Scary party, but I've never actually been. So I'm really hoping to go. I think Not So Scary could happen, but it definitely not be the same. Like, there's probably not going to be the parades or fireworks, so it wouldn't really be worth the money to me. And
I don't know. I think they're going to have to gauge it like anything.
Yeah.
Whether it be sports, have to see how it goes. And
we're just going to have to see. I mean, I don't think Halloween Horror Nights is going to happen, because I don't see how they're going to be able to have scare actors and people in such close proximities in a haunted house. And also the scare zones, too. Like, how are you going to be able to regulate people staying 6 feet apart? And I mean, I really hope it happens, because I love Halloween Horror Nights, but you just never know, I feel like, what they're going to decide.
I mean, it's like anything. At the end of the day, money is going to do what it does, and they're going to miss out on a lot of money, I think. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a huge consideration for it.
Well, it's just for like sure, sporting. It's like health sporting. Is the biggest priority, of course.
Yeah,
and sports is different because you don't have to have fans there, but the theme parks, you have to have guests going into the parks.
Yeah, but sports don't happen if people aren't getting paid, and if they're not generating any money, losing out on billions of dollars from ticket sales.
Oh, for sure. It's going to impact it for sure. But
so it's not like it can't happen.
Right.
It's like, but I don't know. They are two different things. But I think like anything in the world right now, it's all going to have to gauged out. And, I guess we'll have to see.
We'll have to see for sure. But we're really excited. We just miss the park so much because living in Orlando, like that used to be our date night. We would go to the parks, or I remember like our first Christmas together. It was when I was working at Universal, and back then, if you like gave a certain amount of money to charity every week, you got a free annual pass. And I think it was something small. It was like $1 or 50 cents or something like that every week from your paycheck. And so I did it, which basically, that helped me get the why can't I think of the word, the annual pass. So I gave it to Christmas, to Blake for Christmas that year. I can't talk. And I was like so excited. I was like, we were still in college at the time. I was like, if we had a really hard day or if we just passed our test, we can just go get some butterbeer. And we really did go to the parks quite a bit during that time, and I really enjoyed it. And those are like some of my favorite memories, like all those vlogs that we have. I'm so glad that we recorded that because those memories are just so fun to look back on. Yeah. And I know one day, like when we have kids and other things, like those are going to be such good memories for us as when we were young adults and could just go to the parks whenever we wanted. So it's a really fun time.
Yeah, I miss it for sure.
Yeah. And actually, Blake was also a team member at Universal. I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
He was a team member were you there for a whole year?
No, I was there for 7 months.
He worked at a restaurant in City Walk. So you weren't really like in the parks.
It was way different.
It was very different. He he didn't even really go through like the back entrance, like where I would go through to get into the parks. You would go through City Walk. So and your wardrobe was there too, right? Where you got your
there was, but most people just took it home unless you worked at Twosome. You couldn't take yours home.
Yeah, that's how it was for me with Harry Potter. I couldn't take my uniform outside of the park. It was very, very strict. It's only certain people. Whereas when I worked at Disney and I worked at the ice cream parlor, I could take my uniforms home. And I actually liked that because I had a really sensitive skin, so I liked washing my clothes at home. Plus, another thing people don't think about when they're in the parks, I'm kind of like going off track here, but when you work in the parks, a lot of the times, like especially for me, who I'm like an average size person, there's not usually my size available. So a lot of the times when I was working at Gringotts, I didn't have pants that fit or shirts that fit. I'd have to get like really big ones or really small ones. So that's definitely a benefit to be able to take your uniform home for sure. But yeah, so Blake used to work at Universal, and maybe one day he'll work at the parks again. We don't know. So
we'll see.
There's a possibility. We're both servers right now, so you can definitely make good money in the parks through tips.
Yeah, definitely.
So
we'll see.
Yeah. So, but yeah, some other questions I wanted to ask you. What are your top 5 Disney bucket list items? And it could be from any park in the world.
Caught me off guard here.
You don't have to think of them all.
What do you mean by bucket list items?
So I know, I'll start you off. I know your number 1 right now is to make a Star Wars lightsaber at the park.
Okay, so things I want to do at Disney.
Things you want to do, foods you want to eat, rides you want to ride, or movies you want to watch, people you'd love to meet. Anything Disney related on your bucket list.
All right, number 1, the lightsaber.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's number 1. Then I'll do number 5. Number 5, I'd probably...
You don't have to go in order either. I was just saying for you to list.
Okay, so. Not in any order. Mm-hmm. I want to try the food at Star Wars Land. Mm-hmm. I just want to do everything there.
I also have a Star Wars bucket list if you guys want to go watch that about Star Wars Land. That has a lot of these as well, which I know Blake would love to do.
So the food, lightsaber. What else do I want to do? I want to... Oh, man. And these are things I've never done, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any rides, like, do you want to do, like, the Tron ride in Shanghai or, you know, like, Haunted Mansion in Paris?
Everywhere.
Or...
Well, I don't know the difference between the Paris one and this one.
That's okay.
I would say, yeah, the Tron ride for sure. Mm-hmm. I would want to do that. I really want to do the there's a Tower of Terror, but it's the
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's at Disneyland.
Yeah,
Disney California Adventure.
I really want to do that. And then I would also like for The Last Jedi to be completely redone.
Blake hates The Last Jedi. I liked The Last Jedi, but Blake hated it.
The worst Star Wars movie ever created. Gosh, it's so bad.
Are there any foods you want to try, like at Disney Springs?
I don't know any stuff like that, honestly.
That's okay.
There's nothing.
I have some places on the list that you'll try.
That's 4. And then the last one, I want to do the Star Wars ride.
The Rise of the Resistance?
Yeah, I want to do that.
That one looks really cool.
Yeah. I think.
And the Smuggler's Run, too, looks really cool. Do you want to be a pilot on the Millennium Falcon?
That's the one. That's the one I want to do.
Smuggler's Run?
Yeah, that one looks cool.
It does look really cool.
Yeah, I just want to do that whole thing, every bit of it. But yeah those right now top 5. Food I don't know too much. I don't keep informed like that, but
and that's okay. I have some things on my list that I know that you would enjoy. Mm-hmm. So, what do you think is your favorite Disney memory that we share? And it could be from the parks or from watching a movie or...
Favorite memory, I'd probably say...
I have so many. I can't even tell you.
It's hard to think. There's so many. But I would probably say, oh my gosh, when we did the Mount Everest... So when we first started dating, this was before I left to Hawaii. When we did that, I rode Expedition Everest for the first time, and so I knew that I went backwards, but I didn't really know anything else besides that. But when the Yeti, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's his name.
Yeti.
I wasn't sure if it was something else. When he comes out and he, like, the huge thing pops out and scares you, I scream so
He screamed loud. Like a little girl. And you have to think, this was, like, literally... We had started dating, like, 3 days before this. And he screamed like a little girl.
It was so bad.
I was so shook to my core. I was literally like... Because if you have ever seen Blake, which if you follow us on Instagram, I'm going to post a picture when I post this episode of him and I at the parks, but he's 6'4", a very big man, and he's very tough, and I would never think that he screamed like a little girl.
Yeah, it was not one of my strong points.
And this was like right when we first started dating.
Yeah, so obviously we're not like
close. We don't know each other yet. Yeah. And I can't even scream like a girl. Like I can't scream at the top of my vocal range.
My inner white girl came out just all of a sudden.
It was so funny. That's definitely a memory I'll always have as well. And it wasn't even that you just screamed. You like grabbed my arm and you were hiding your head in my shoulder
because it was so unexpected. So I was like, oh my
funny.
God. Worst.
That's such a good memory. I have so many, honestly. We've had such a good time at the parks. Disneyland is a really great memory.
Yeah, that was so cool.
That was like the first trip I ever paid for by myself. And that's just like a memory in itself because that was my first year of college. I didn't have a lot of money, but I really wanted to save up for this trip because like that was the year I told myself, because I had so many places I wanted to visit, and I was like, oh, someday I'll do this, someday I'll do this. And that was the first trip where I was like, okay, not someday, but I'm gonna start planning this. And like, I planned it in a year. Luckily, I was still working at the park, so my tickets were free. I had a discounted hotel. So really all I had to pay for was like food, the remainder of the hotel, and the flights. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to keep saying someday. I'm going to say this day. And so I calculated how much I could put aside a week, and I planned my trip for a year out, and it was only like $7 a week I had to put aside, and I made it happen. And it was really, really fun, and I really want to go to all the parks with you one day.
Yeah, that would be awesome. There's so many cool
fun
ones, especially the Shanghai one.
Yeah,
that one is so cool. All the technological things they've done, just from what I've seen.
Yeah, I want to do all the Asian parks, and I've been to Disneyland Paris, but it's been years. Like, I went when I was 6, and I can only remember like very small things. So I definitely want to go back. So that would be super cool.
Yeah.
And I want to go to Disneyland again, and I have an excuse now that I have the podcast, because that's where D23 is, and I feel like I have to go to D23 because that's where like they do all their news and events, and so I have to go so I can get all the firsthand scoop for the podcast.
Make it happen.
Sorry if my voice is changing. We're like in my room in Florida, and I'm trying to get comfortable. My arm keeps falling asleep. But yeah, so those are some of my favorite memories. I also just love like watching Fantasmic with you, and all the YouTube videos we filmed in the parks. Those are just some great memories.
Yeah, so good.
What are you most looking forward to in the future about Disney?
I'll
start off. Something that I dream of every day is taking our kids to the parks.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Really cool. I dream of seeing our kids like first look as they see the castle, or meet the princesses, or meet Mickey Mouse. And I dream about watching Disney movies with our kids and having like movie nights at home. It's just gonna be so cute. I can't wait for them to wear their little outfits and their ears, and I'm just so excited. So
I think you're more excited than I am about that.
About having kids.
Yeah, in general.
And taking them to the parks. All right, well, I guess we're going to kind of wrap it up. This is a pretty long episode, so I hope that you guys are enjoying it. But do you have any other fun memories or stories you want to share before we end this episode? Or do you have any advice for people getting in a relationship with someone who's not a Disney fan?
Let me see. Best memory, just in general, is probably... I don't know, I guess just being there with you is just so great, because you know all the stuff about Disney. You always know where to go. It's always a good time. As far as what I'm trying to think here. What was the question again?
I said, do you have any last minute memories or stories or advice for people who are dating non-Disney fans before we go?
I'll say advice. I would say if you're dating, just date someone to date them. That's all. I just feel like there's no need to overcomplicate. I don't know. It's like, to me, it's so weird. Like, if you won't be in a relationship because someone likes Disney or doesn't like Disney,
I don't think people are not going to be in a relationship because of that. I just think people are curious, like, how it works, because, like, liking Disney is considered, like, a childish thing to a lot of people, so I feel like some people just feel insecure that their partner isn't going to appreciate it or validate it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit. I think that if you like something, you're meant to be with that person and chemistry's there, then it's going to work out, and it's going to find a way to work out. They're going to want to do that with you. Just like I'm a huge football sports fan, and Marissa's not the most into it all the time like I am, which is understandable, but make it work. And, like you were talking about earlier, like finding ways to give and take,
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, that's my advice. It'll all work out. Be all good.
Great advice.
Just being honest, like if they won't appreciate you because you like Disney, then don't be with them.
Yeah,
that's just so stupid. That's what I think, for sure.
Yeah,
to say the least.
I agree. Do Do you remember when we first started when we first started talking and you lied and said that you saw Frozen like 5 times in the theater?
I did. I saw it like 3 or 4 times. I think 3 times.
You told me after that you lied about that you had only seen it once.
No, I definitely saw it like at least 3 times, maybe 2 on the safe side.
Really?
Yes.
No, you definitely were trying to flatter me on the Disney side by talking about Disney things.
Yeah, it was like, okay, common grounds. Just try to find something to talk about. Mm-hmm. And at the time, all you posted about was Disney.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I don't really know what else to talk about. Mm-hmm. So I'll try to talk about this.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that is going to be it for this week's episode. I will definitely have Blake on again, so let me know if you enjoyed him and our fun stories. Blake actually came up with next week's podcast idea, so he'll be back next week, and it's going to be a fun one. And there might be a little bit of arguing. We're going to have a little debate, so please be sure to come back. And is your Instagram public now?
No, it's not public.
Okay, sorry guys. I would tell you to follow him, but it's not public, so
and follow me. I just don't like the super weird, like scammy people, the weird random accounts.
Okay.
I don't like those. But if it's like a normal person,
you'll let them follow you.
Yeah, especially if I see I have like mutual, it's super exclusive club, guys.
That's so generous of you to allow them to follow your prestigious Instagram page.
I post maybe twice a year, so there's really nothing to see.
Well, what is your handle just in case they want to follow you?
Blake_Potts.
At Blake_Potts.
Yeah. Well, there's no at.
Well, yes, if you're tagging someone. So at Blake_Potts. You can also follow me at Little Miss Maris if you want. Blake's punching my chin right now as I'm trying to wrap this
and the
up.
vlog woman.
And, you can follow me at Little Miss Maris if you want to see pictures of us at the parks, or like I said at the beginning of this episode, at the Mouse Club Podcast. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Sorry this episode's a little bit late, like I said before, but we'll see you next week for a new episode. And that's it. You want to say bye with me? Ready? Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mouse Club Podcast. To find us on Instagram, follow us at the Mouse Club Podcast. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/the Mouse Club Podcast, or on our website, themouseclubpodcast.com, to find all of our episodes, links to our social channels, and our YouTube channel, which will be coming soon. To follow our host, Marissa Potts, that's me, check me out on YouTube, Marissa Potts, on TikTok at marissa.potts, on Instagram at Little Miss Maris, MRS Maris. Thanks so much for listening. See you next week. Bye.